going on, everyone? This is Lucas Ross Sports, Lucas Ross, your commentator. We continue our 2022 college football predictions. The Syracuse Orange are up next. I'll give my thoughts on this team, give you my official prediction for this team, and preview their schedule, and I will go from there. But before we do that, let's look back at 2021 for this Syracuse team. Recapping 2021 for this Syracuse team, they went 5-7 overall. It was a really interesting season last year, I think, for Syracuse. I think, with the help of everything going on in the pandemic back then, I think they had a chance to maybe be a bowl team last year, but did not quite live up to that expectation last year. But I think Syracuse maybe has what it takes to maybe get to a bowl game this year, but it's just the schedule. The schedule is tough. I'll get to the schedule in just a minute, though. Offensively and defensive rankings in the last year, 92nd on offense, 65th on defense. Those are pretty interesting numbers there. I think the offense should be a little bit good than last year. Defensively, they should be really quite good as well. Think maybe they'll be some sort of top 35 defense probably this year, but it's just questionable. 24.9 points on the offensive side of the ball, and then 26.3 points given up on the defensive side of the ball. So similar numbers from last year. My thoughts on this Syracuse team is that the schedule is pretty tough, but the talent is there. The talent is there for them, but do they have enough talent to really pull off some upsets this year? I think there will be some upsets this year, but I think it's going to come down to that offense for Syracuse to score some points. Here's the schedule for the upcoming season for Syracuse. They play on the road at UConn, Purdue at home, and then Wagner at home. That's a non-conference schedule there for Syracuse. It's a pretty tough non-conference schedule, to be honest, and they also get Notre Dame out of the non-conference. This is going to be a really tough schedule this year for Syracuse, but it starts with that first game of the season, and that is at home against Louisville. A lot of hype coming in for Louisville this year. Cunningham back at quarterback this year. I mean, this is going to be a shootout. I think it's one of those, coin flip type games. I think Louisville is favored by a touchdown, perhaps because the talent they have, but I think both of these teams are pretty similar. Now, I do think Syracuse is, if they were in a coin flip type game in this one, I would choose Syracuse, but I like Louisville in this game a lot, and I'm going to go with the Cardinals to defeat Syracuse to begin the season, and I got Syracuse starting out 1-1. They take care of business on the road, though, at UConn. I think UConn wasn't that great of a team last year, let's be honest. I think Syracuse should go on the road and take care of business in that game, and I think they start out 1-1 on the season. And this is the game right here. Purdue is at home. I would say this is probably a shootout game, but I think Purdue just has more talent than Syracuse. Let's be honest, Purdue has a great offense coming back this year. They have a chance to maybe win the Big Ten West this season as well. I mean, they're one of those top 4 teams out of the Big Ten as well. But I got Syracuse, in a close game here, but Purdue, I think, wins in a close one. I mean, I'm saying that Syracuse will get close with them, but I think Purdue does pull off a win. I think the veteran experience of Purdue just gets them done, and I think Syracuse does lose here at home. Comes up short, though. It's not a blowout. It's some sort of like a 10-point game. Going to be a shootout game, so don't sleep on that game. Virginia's up next here at home. Winnable game here. I think Virginia's going to be a little bit young this season. They don't really have quite a lot of experience coming back on the defensive side of the ball. I think both of these teams are pretty even, though. It's a coin flip type game. With it being a 50-50 game, though, I think this one goes to Syracuse, and I got them winning here against Virginia on September the 23rd. I think it's a close game, shootout type game. I could see it going either way. Overall, I think it's going to be probably in the 30-point category. I got Syracuse winning their first ACC game, and that's to Virginia here, and I got them winning that one. And then Syracuse gets to the month of October. They take care of business against Wagner here on October 1st, and now I got them sitting at 3-2. They get a bye week before playing NC State here at home. This is a big game here. I'm not saying that it's going to be a blowout. I think it's some sort of trap game if I was NC State. I think first half Syracuse will get in this game, but second half, like I said, I think NC State will pull away. And I think NC State's got a lot of production coming back this season. And I've got to go with the Wolfpack here to get the win over the Orange. So I'd say NC State pulls away in the second half. I think Syracuse does lose their third game here, and it comes at home against NC State. Will be a close game, though. Don't really sleep on it. It's an upset alert type game. They play on the road here at Clemson next on October the 22nd. I'm not really seeing Syracuse, going on the road and defeating Clemson. I don't think it's going to happen. I think Clemson is going to be a lot better this year than they were last year. I think DJ Ogilvy will be a Heisman contender this year as well. So I'm going to go ahead and pick Clemson to win that game. And I got Syracuse now to 3-4 on the season. Notre Dame coming up next year on October 29th. Back-to-back tough games here. The schedule is just really tough. Let's be honest, the schedule is really tough to predict here for Syracuse. Lots of tough games here on the schedule. Notre Dame, though, is a team that's going to be pretty young. I think this game is going to be close. I think this game will be close, but Notre Dame, though, I think is the better team. I think the defense by this time for Notre Dame is going to step up, and I think they do defeat Syracuse here at home. So I got Syracuse losing 3 straight games there to NC State, Clemson, Notre Dame. That's a tough stretch there in October, and then you go on the road to face Pittsburgh. You're sitting there at 3-5 now, heading into the month of November, and they face Pittsburgh here on the road. Pittsburgh is a team that, has a lot of production coming back this year as well. I think I expect this team to be the same team as they were last year, but not quite the same team, that made it to the ACC championship or something like that. But I think Syracuse, I don't think they have what it takes to defeat Pittsburgh here on the road. I think Syracuse does lose this one on the road at Pitt. Pitt has just got a lot more talent, and this is a tough, brutal stretch here in November as well. You got to play 3 road games. Next game is at home against Florida State. Florida State is a team I'm really high on this year. I think they have what it takes to maybe win 8 or 9 games this year, maybe 10 or something like that. This game right here, I could see it being a potential trap game for Florida State, but I think Syracuse's coach is probably fired at the end of this season right here. And I think Syracuse, right now is struggling, and I think that's what's going to happen there. I think Syracuse does lose that one at home against Florida State here at home, so I got Syracuse now to 3-7. They play Wake Forest here on the road next, and then Boston College to end things out. So tough back-to-back road games here, but Wake Forest is a team that I'm really high on this year. They were really good last year as well. I think Wake Forest should be really that good of a team this season again. I really don't see Syracuse winning these last 2 games by big margins. I see them losing by big margins. It's on the road. I don't really see them competing in this game. Wake Forest wins it by maybe a 20-something point win there. And I think Syracuse does lose that one on the road at Wake Forest. Then Boston College to end things out here. Boston College is a team I'm not really high on this year, but this is a game that is going to go either way, I think. I think both teams are pretty even in returning production percentage as well. But I think with it being a 50-50 game and also a coin flip type game, I'm going to go with the home team. I'm going to go with Boston College to end things out. And I got Syracuse losing that one on the road. And they finished out 3-9 in 2022. That's my official prediction for Syracuse. I really don't see Syracuse being all that talented this year. Or I see them being talented, but not really, competing. I tell you what, this schedule is really tough. You got Clemson, Notre Dame on the schedule, NC State as well, Pittsburgh on the road, Wake Forest on the road. These are tough games. And he got Purdue out of the non-conference. So I think Syracuse's record goes to 3-9 this season in 2022. And we'll continue to do more football predictions throughout this week. Stay tuned here for more on Lucas Ross Sports.